Let's go to Bitcoin. Yes, finally. Okay, let me zoom in, and you can clearly see that we had these zones like for a while now. And like for those who watched the previous episodes, like I started like for 2 weeks, I started the same videos in the same manner. We are inside a range around the lower band. The boost can still kick in from here and blah blah blah, right? So you can watch it here. Day like today I posted day 91, yesterday day 90. 80, 89, and so on. Okay, so you can watch it. And I've been saying the same intro for a while now, around the lower band, looking for basket ups. For the boss to take over, we need to see a break above this. We had the break, and then we traded higher. And now we need to see a break above this for the boss to take over from a medium term perspective. And now we had the break. Okay, so we had the break now. The bulls are now over from a medium term perspective. Short term done, rejected the lower band, broke above this and above this. Let's update it. For the bears to take over from a long-term perspective, we are still on the same analysis, on the same like if you want, like yeah, this is, anyway, I don't know what to say in English, but for the bears to take over, we have the same view, if you want, that if we see this break below this zone, below the 18K, the bears will take over. Okay, for now, the bulls are clearly kicking in, rejecting the 18K, and by big break, I mean just like this candle, like this. Here we go. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for. For now, this is our upper bound of this whole range, lower bound of the range as well, and this is the midway support. Resistance, support here, support here, and resistance again and again. So this area is a resistance, especially, which I keep on highlighting. We have a supply zone right here. Okay, this entire zone starting from 22K to 22.67K. Okay, this entire zone is a supply zone that price might fill and then trade lower from here, which would be also, as I mentioned, a resistance zone. So for now, the bulls took over, taking over now. We will trade higher, and here would be a very interesting zone to look out for, because we might have a rejection from here. It might be a deeper rejection to retest this previous high again before being able to trade higher or even trade lower, break below the 18K and so on. But for now, let's take it step by step. Okay, we broke up of these highs, which you saw right here. What is it? Okay, which we saw right here in orange. I guess this is from H4. So let me show. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we broke above it. We had a classic retest to it, and we traded higher. For now, we are waiting. Like these are the drawings from last week. Okay, so anyway, I'll keep them as is. So the boost took over here, and we might have a retest just like we saw here. If you see it, that's it, a deep one. So don't panic. Okay, we might have some retest here before we trade higher, and like this is what I said when we were here when I made this video, which is today. That's because like we were still in the first H4 candle. Like don't panic if you see price going back like till here, because price usually tends to retest the support or like the resistance after being broken. So now resistance broken, it's now acting as a support zone. Okay, so as long as we are above this area, above 22.5K, we are bullish. We are expecting further bullish movement. Yes, we might have a correction, and the correction can last or can dive till around the 20K before we trade higher. Okay, so don't panic if you see Bitcoin going down. For now, we don't have anything that might hold it back. Okay, we might have these highs here, right here, but like they already like the very old and this area here. Okay, so it might reject the price downward, it might reject it for a short period of time, and then the bulls take over. So if price retest this zone, we'll be looking for basket ups, and of course, if it's broken downward like this, then it will be breaking back below the zone, and then we'll be expecting price to be back inside it. This would be a fake out before we trade lower. But the good thing is that, of course, like it depends on today. For this daily, if this daily candle closes above the zone, Okay, it would confirm the break. So this is the entire zone now being broken. Of course, unless like something crazy happens now, because like the candle would close in like around 7 hours. So unless in these 7 hours something crazy happens and drives back the price, forms a big wick here and a small body, then of course expect bearish movement from here. But as long as we are bullish and like this wick is small compared to this body, we are fine. Okay, if we see a bigger wick, for example till here, and like the wick would be the same size of the candle, it wouldn't be considered a clean breakout. Okay, as long as it is clean, like for example, like just like this, it would be great. Even if we test a little bit, we might still trade higher, because of course like nothing trades in the same direction forever. We might have an impulse correction and then an impulse, second one pushing price to the upper band. In this case, we'll have this impulse maybe and trade lower, or breaking the upward and trade higher. Anyway, let's take it step by step. So that's basically it for Bitcoin. That's our last major low for now. And of course, this one minor here, but that's our last major low, which happens to be also around the 20K. How low can we trade again? Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, like Bukhari, I just saw your question. Like of course, like it depends, because like I guess like when I went over my analysis, like I guess you got your answer right. We can still retest the zone before trading lower, but as long as we don't break below this support resistance, a minor 120K, which is also a very strong round number. If you don't break it downward, if you break it downward, we'll be trading lower. But for now, this is acting as a support zone. On Ethereum, a very similar movement. Let's wait for my drawings. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so here we go. We are bearish, of course, from a long-term perspective. The last major high is right here, around 2K. So for Ethereum to become bullish, so now we are bearish, right? To have a shift in momentum from bearish to bullish, we need to see a break above the 2K. Okay, this is of course from a long-term perspective. For now, we had what? We had a low and now forming a higher low, which is an early alert that a potential reversal might happen. Okay, and like, which is, as you can obviously see, the exact opposite of what? Of the XY. We had a high and now we have a lower high. Okay, but of course we still need a break below the major low for the best to take over. In this case, we still need to see a break above the 2K for the boost to take over from a long-term perspective, which is also, sorry, a support and resistance zone and a massive round number 2K. Okay, so as you see, price is respecting the 1K right here, the 2K right here, the 2.5K. Okay, the 3K of course multiple times, the 3.5K, and so on. Okay, anyway, you've got the idea. If you go to daily time frame, we knew that we have this midway support, resistance, and support. And if you remember that I told you that for the boost to take over, we need to see not only a break above this high, but also a break above the 1.5K, which as you can see happened. And you can see my alerts right here, because on the retest, I'll be planning to add more longs. Okay, so that's basically it. That's my first alert, retesting this sorry, demand zone and also the 1.5K zone, and that's my second alert, retesting this zone right here. Okay, it depends on how deep we might dive. We had our impulse. We can't move in the same direction forever. Okay, so we can't like move like this for forever. Even though we are bullish, we might make an impulse correction, and so on. Okay, we might see a correction before we trade higher, but yeah, the bulls took over. We broke above this zone. Okay, let's fix this one. That's it. Okay, and let's go to H4. Can't really say much. Okay, can't really say much. We broke above this resistance, this zone in blue, the trend line, and the 1.5K resistance. Okay, now let's go for, sorry, now let's go for NWC. DJ. Okay, Wishing you a lovely night. I'll see you hopefully soon. Okay, so Sustain Empire, I'm glad to see you here. I didn't say hi previously, so hope you're doing good. And Mark, hope you're doing good. So now we've done with the first part of the overall market. Let's now check NWC. And that's it. From a long-term perspective, we are still waiting for this channel to be broken upward, right? Long-term, we need to see a break above the 0.2, and then we'll be expecting NWC to trade higher and higher. But for now, we are trying to catch the next impulse movement because previously we had this nice impulse movement, and we are currently in a correction movement while around the demand zone. We are trying to catch this next impulse movement upward, and hopefully we'll have this impulse correction and then another impulse making a higher high. It will be responsible of the break of the resistance, and then we'll be expecting this next bullish movement. But anyway, as usual, let's take it step by step. This is from a long-term perspective. From H4 time frame, we know that we had this trend line previously. We broke above this support. Now it's acting as a resistance. So from a medium-term perspective, I would like to see a break above the 11.5 or 0.115, okay, which is around this area. This is from a medium-term perspective. From a short-term perspective, I'm waiting for this, and that's why you see an alert here, and one here in case we dive inside the demand zone again. Now the demand zone is holding up nicely, and yeah, that's basically it. From H1, yeah, that's it. From H1, we had this channel previously, and I was waiting for something like this to happen. It didn't happen exactly like this. It happened like in a different way. This channel formed. That's it, right? And then formed a new high right here, and then broke it up. But anyway, I didn't like the wicks here and like how NWC is doing on lower time frames. But anyway, like now we're still at around entry. Of course, like for those who bought here, we're still around entry. But for extra confirmation to me, I'll be sticking to the H4 this range here. I'll be waiting for an H4 candle close above this zone for the buyers to take over. Check my alerts. Okay, rose. Okay. Waiting for this break for the boost to take over, and then we'll be expecting this movement upwards. Meanwhile, we can simply test the demand zone before we trade higher. Okay, that's it for NWC. For Joseph Galatasaray, I don't like this token, Joseph. Multiple wicks all over the place, right? And especially now lately, like multiple wicks, right? Anyway, we're still here struggling around the support for the bulls to take over. From a long-term perspective, I'm still waiting for this last major high. For now, if you want, we can update it to become this one, okay? And that's it. Okay, waiting for this break above the zone for the bulls to take over. Meanwhile, we can still trade higher, rejected, trade lower before breaking it upward. So I want a break above the entire orange zone. From a shorter term perspective, from H1, I was waiting for a break like this is from last week, a break like this above this high for the bulls to take over. Obviously didn't happen and kept forming wicks. Okay, so no entry yet. Okay, and yeah, I don't like these wicks, so I'll delete this one. I'm no longer interested in buying Galatasaray here because we've got wicks and because we made our zone lower anyway. We made it lower from daily, so let's stick to the zone to to buy. Want a daily candle close above this one for the bulls to take over and expect a long-term bullish movement till around the next resistance. Meanwhile, yes, unfortunately, we are stuck here. We can even dive lower. That's the power of waiting for extra confirmation before you jump in.